Hi guys, it's Noe. Today I just wanted to do a video sharing with you kind of the journey that we have been making, but mostly me have been making with the baby. And I specifically wanted to touch upon her cow milk protein allergy. I never really dealt with food allergies or anything like that with the other two girls, with Zoe or Zara. Zoe has some issues with eczema, some pretty severe issues with eczema, and so we've been dealing with that since she was like 4 months old. So I've dealt with that. Zara came along. Zara didn't really have any issues, no allergies, nothing like that, no eczema. So that was pretty decent. Along with Zoe's eczema, though, she also has asthma. So she has some breathing issues, which eczema and asthma kind of go hand in hand as well. So fast forward to 2016, and we welcome Zayda. I'm not expecting any issues, you know. Obviously, you see, if you haven't, or if you have, there's a video on my pregnancy and the delivery, and it was a rough delivery, rough time getting her here. But other than that, everything was okay. So I breastfeed. I breastfeed exclusively. I mean, I pump and drink, and so she drinks from the bottle and the breast, but only breast milk, so no formula. So we had realized that she had really bad baby eczema, and she would flare up like after she ate, and so she'd get really red spots all over her face, really bumpy, really angry looking. And I was like, you know, that's not that normal. She had terrible gas issues. She would be really fussy after she ate, so we were giving her, you know, the baby Mylicon or simethicone drops, the gas drops, and sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't. You know, we try to bicycle her legs, try to help her expel the gas. What worked best for her, though, it's funny because she basically rolls up into a little ball. So if we hold her and just let her body kind of fall into itself, that would help push out some of the gas. But her, she was like pooping in every single diaper, or at least having traces of poop. Like, she just was a miserable little baby for her first month. And I'm like, there's got to be something into this. And so started doing some internet research. Didn't go to the doctor because it wasn't really anything that the doctor would be able to, I felt like the doctor would be able to help us with. So then I came upon milk protein allergies, CMPA, I think they call them, cow's milk protein allergies. And all of the signs and symptoms were pointing to that this is probably it. So basically, she has an allergy to, or she's allergic to, the proteins that are in milk. So this is different than being lactose intolerant. Lactose is the sugar that's in milk, and your body just has a hard time kind of breaking it down. So you might either be constipated, or you might have more loose stools, diarrhea kind of stuff. But it's different than lactose. Cow's milk protein allergy is different than being lactose intolerant. Lactose intolerant, like, you can still drink, you can still partake in dairy. You just might be a little bit miserable. But having the allergy to the milk protein means that any milk product, so there's caseins, there's whey, there's actual milk, you know, dried milk, any of the milk components cause issues. So it can cause hives. It can be as severe as anaphylactic shock, and you could potentially die, I guess. But so she was dealing with hives and severe eczema. She was dealing with gas, fussiness, everything. All the signs are pointing to that. So I went on an elimination diet. And basically I had to cut out all dairy. So that meant milk, that meant cheese, that meant butter, like, you know, yogurt, all of the main things, because I eat a lot of dairy. I drink milk, I love cheese and yogurt and all of that. So I was eating that stuff like every day because I'm like, well, it's healthy and it's good, you know. So I had to cut all of that out. It was a little bit rough. Cheese has been the hardest. And you know, I like ice cream too, but I can do sorbet, not sherbet, because sherbet has milk, like has cream in it. But I can totally do sorbet, which is basically pureed fruit, and it's awesome. So I can still partake in a sweet frozen treat. In terms of other things, so I'll go into kind of how the changes I've made and what I've been able to find and what has worked for me. But basically, once I started doing the elimination diet, about 2 weeks in, we really started to see a difference. Her skin was clearing up. She was having less gas. She was less fussy after eating. And so I was like, okay, well, I think this is it. So there was a night that I wanted to have a beer. And so I was like, well, I'll go ahead and feed her now. And then I got out some of my frozen breast milk that I've been pumping. And I was like, I'll use this in case of backup until the alcohol is out of my system. So drank my beer. She was still hungry. So I heated up some of the frozen breast milk, gave that to her. And her issues all came back after she had that bottle. And that bottle was milk from when I had pumped, when I still had dairy in my diet. So I was like, so I had to get rid of, like, I don't know, I had about 6 bags. I had like 6 or 7 bags of like 8-ounce bags of breast milk frozen. And I was sad because I had to get rid of all of that. But that really helped solidify that, like, okay, I'm onto something. This is probably what it is, the milk protein allergy, because I had been 2 weeks off, and then she had some milk with dairy in it, and then she had the issues come back. So we have been doing this for about a month now. She is doing much better. So some of the things that I've had to watch in my diet, so like I said, I feel like I have a hair on my, I can't do dairy. So it's tricky because a lot of things do have dairy in it. And it's hidden, like I said before, like there's caseins and there's whey, like saltines have whey, so that's a milk product. So I can't eat saltines, but I can eat Ritz crackers. So luckily we live in a place where there's health food stores, there's all kinds of stuff all over the place, and people here in Seattle are like, either they have allergies or they're on a specific diet or something because they want to be. So it's pretty easy to find dairy-free stuff here, even in your basic grocery store. The things that I miss the most, I miss coffee creamer the most. I have tried almond milk creamer, which I was not a big fan of because it was not that creamy consistency that you get with coffee creamer. But then I switched to coconut creamer, and that has actually been probably the best substitute. So, and it is actually amazing how quickly your body gets adjusted and gets used to things, because I'm like, oh, I can never learn to like this. But now I'm like, okay, cool, like this is just how I drink my coffee. You know, I went and had coffee with a friend at a coffee shop a week or two ago, and I got a latte with coconut milk. And I will say I do miss my lattes, but it wasn't bad, and it was totally tolerable. So I enjoy I think it's So, and it's coconut creamer, and they have like hazelnut and French vanilla. I think French vanilla is my favorite. So that's been my best substitute for that. I'm not cooking with butter, so I'm cooking with coconut oil. So I can use that. You can also substitute coconut oil in like baking recipes and stuff. I haven't baked anything yet where I've done a milk substitute. So, because, you know, I make the peanut butter cookies, but I haven't made like other kinds of cookies, like chocolate chip cookies with a milk substitute or butter substitute. So, brownies I think wouldn't be too bad because I can substitute coconut oil, which I think would just give it a nice flavor. Let's see what else. So there's been some recipes that that I've done. So making grilled cheese. I've made grilled cheese for the family with butter. And then I have made a grilled peanut butter sandwich because I love peanut butter anyway, and I grew up loving grilled peanut butter sandwiches. But I make a grilled peanut butter and I use coconut oil instead of butter, and that has turned out really well. Some of the other things, like I have switched us over to almond milk, just because, well, one, Zara is lactose intolerant. Milk does upset her stomach. She's not allergic to it like Zayda is, but it does upset her stomach, so I've switched her. I was getting her lactose-free milk, and she had gotten better, but now it's just easier to buy almond milk for everybody, so we've switched to almond milk. Some of the other things, using coconut oil, but it's just really important for you to read labels, because a lot of times, like in lunch meat, there are things that are milk products. Because it's not like a deadly allergy, at least at this point, even if it says this was processed in a plant that you know, uses milk, I might still eat that because it's not directly in it, and I figure it would just be trace amounts anyway. So, but it has not been as hard as I thought. The one challenge has been cheese. I really miss cheese. I use cheese in a lot, like Parmesan cheese I cook with so much. But again, I've been able to make some stuff for the rest of the family with cheese in it, and I just, I gotta go cheeseless. I did have a frozen pizza. I think it's Amy's brand, Amy's Organic or whatever. It's a frozen pizza, and it had Daiya Shred. So Daiya is a brand of non-dairy cheese, and I was very, very iffy about this because I'm like, I don't know. But I tried that, and it's actually really tasty. It's just the pizza itself is like sort of small, and it's like $7. So I'm like, I don't know. But what we've done, like a couple of nights we've gotten pizza, because they like pizza, so we get pizza and I go and get pho takeout, or I get takeout from someplace else that I can eat. So that's kind of how we've combated that. I don't eat out a lot because I don't know what's going to have milk products or not. So I've been cooking a lot at home and eating at home, and yeah, I will say it has not been as difficult as I thought it would be. So I am looking at being dairy-free until she is done nursing. I nursed both of the other girls, like 20 months and 22 months. So I'm, you know, looking at about 2 years of being dairy-free. And by that point, I don't know if I'll really go back to being, to using dairy. I don't know, because I think by that point my body will be so used to it that, like, if I take dairy back in, like, what's it going to do to my body? Because I'm mildly lactose intolerant as well, but I'm just like, it's not worth not eating it. Well, before, it wasn't worth not eating those things, and I just deal with a little bit of discomfort. But after having been dairy-free, I don't know if I'll go back to incorporating dairy into my diet or not. But anyway, so she has her 2-month checkup this Friday. And so I'm going to talk to the doctor about all of that. Because she's only 2 months, I think it's still too early for us to do any allergy testing on her. But they do say that there are issues that a lot of times, if you have the milk allergy, that a lot of times soy is an issue as well. So before we introduce her to solids, I do want to see, you know, if at like 6 months we can get her tested for allergies, and kind of figure that out. They also say that children sometimes grow out of this by 2 or 3 years old, so hopefully that would be the case for her, because I mean, it's just easier to not have to deal with with a food allergy. But if she is, I mean, we live in a pretty good place that it's not uncommon, and I think it's happening all across the U.S. because you have all this genetically modified food and all of the pollution and everything and hormones and food and stuff. It's just, I think that's why we've seen a rise in allergies and issues like that. But anyway, I've been talking long enough, but I just wanted to share that. If you are dealing with milk protein allergy and have any advice or have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.